Folks, hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, and today, as you can see on the screen, I'm going to be talking briefly about the Dungeons and Dragons basic set, the various editions. Now, I think most of us are conversant or we know that there were pretty much, for our intents and purposes, right, three editions of the basic set. Holmes, Moldvay, and Mentzer. Okay, these are the ones that we think about when we think about D&D basic set. Um, and I kind of knew about the black box. I saw it, and I guess, yeah, maybe it's another basic set. Um, I didn't really fully. I recognized the fifth basic set. When I say fifth, I'm not talking for fifth edition. I recognize the fifth edition of, or fifth revision of the basic set. But it's something that I never fully associated, I guess, with the classic D&D line. So, as my little kitty comes up on my desk, or maybe not, okay. Um, the original, the Eric Holmes version, was meant to lead to AD&D. Holmes and Gary Gygax had different ideas of what that would really mean. So it really didn't. If you read the basic set, other than it telling you that you continue with AD&D, it doesn't really feel like it. 81, we move on to Tom Moldvay's edition. This is the one that many of us know. This is the one that was also joined by the first expert set, and that was by Cook and Steve Marsh. So that took basic was levels 1 to 3, expert was levels 4 to 14, and that's pretty much where basic becomes its own line, right? This is that situation. 81 basic becomes its own entity, parallel evolution, I guess you could say, to AD&D. 83 takes it a step even further. That's Frank Metzner's edition or version of the rules, and he had the basic rules, the expert rules, edited companion, master, and immortal. I mean, this is when the D&D basic line jumped the shark. So, 91, 8 years later, they came out with a black box. And it was an oversized black box. I remember this at KB Toys or KB Hobbies. And I remember looking at it and going, do I really need it? And this is before the internet. This is before we got to read about everything, before stuff actually came out. And I didn't know much about it. And therefore, I pretty much was sure it wasn't something that was going to help with my AD&D campaign. So I didn't buy it. This edition of the rules was meant to lead on to the rules cyclopedia. So you would have this edition of the rules. You'd play your limited number of levels. I believe at this point it was 5. And then you move on to the rules cyclopedia. And the rules cyclopedia was more or less a revision of the original BECMI, Basic Expert Companion, Master, Immortal rules, without the Immortal rules in it. Kind of got dropped. 94 led to a revision that I remember only because when I looked this up, I saw the artwork and I was like, I remember that, but I never was tempted to buy it. It wasn't something I even picked up, and that's the 94 revision, edited by Doug Stewart, who, I'll be honest with you, I don't know who they are. This one put all the material from the black box into one book, 6 plastic minis, a DM screen, some foldable standees, I guess. That's something that Steve Jackson games have been doing with, I guess, their Cardboard Heroes line. I guess TSR tried to follow it. Um, Again, the later editions or the later revisions to the basic, we don't talk about in the OSR, right? You don't hear anybody going, well, yeah, I did a retro clone of the 1994 version. There is apparently one of the 91 version. I was surprised to see that. These things kind of go on the radar because for most people, most gamers of my generation, if you played Basic, it was one of those first 3 editions. The last 2 editions didn't really seem to snag anybody. It's those first 3, Holmes, Moldvay, Mentzer. These are the ones that seem to have brought people into the hobby, snagged them, kept them. Kind of like a fly trap. If you came into the hobby with the black box or with the classic Dungeons and Dragons game as your basic editions, I'd love to hear about it. I'd like to hear what made these special to you because we don't hear about them. Very few people talk about them. So, you can leave a voicemail, 347-509-5168. If you're listening on Anchor, you can use Anchor. You can leave an email, 10cars.tavern@gmail.com. Why not? I mean, these are definitely overlooked editions of the game. If you're looking for a complete run of basic sets, and you probably, you have your, we had a basic set for a period of time which didn't come with dice, it came with chits, right? These are much later. These dice were much more common. We were no longer fighting for dice in '94. So, let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. Folks, we are still in the midst of the world of the pandemic. I'm not telling you what to do. All I'm going to say is use your common sense. Keep yourself, your loved ones, your family, your friends healthy and safe. Be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice. And God willing, I'll be back again tomorrow, Memorial Day, and I'll chew your ear off again. All right, folks. On that note,